Dear listener, ClockTower is intended for mature audiences and might be inappropriate or possibly triggering to some. Many of the themes and events in ClockTower are inspired by weird fiction as well as similar concepts, which means the show can get dark.
If that isn't something you enjoy, please listen at your own discretion. We here at the ClockTower care about you, so please put your mental health first. Our show will be here when you're ready.
Welcome to another episode of ClockTower, a D&D 5e experience. For those familiar with 5th edition, keep in mind that all of our players are playing a custom class called the ClockTower Agent. We also play with a lot of house rules in our games that we as a group collectively enjoy. We explain these rules as they come up, so if you're just joining us, you may need to listen back to previous episodes just to clear up any confusion. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and welcome to the ClockTower. There's a sense of awe about the entire clock tower, as without the monster dead, and realizing that the mission wasn't what you thought it was, that the captain must have been a clock tower agent, like all of you. Again, as often, you're left with more questions than answers.
Rock starts to get up to go through the mirror again, thinking that they had failed in some way, shape, or form, because in Rock's perspective, it was smoke and we're back. So maybe it exploded, maybe it got eaten, and they start to go, and as soon as they push their hand through and it stops, they try it again, and try it again, and try it again.
Rock, look at the shelf.
Why isn't it working?
Look at the shelf.
Rock turns their head to the direction of the shelf, and their head tilts down. They walk back to the couch and sit down, puts both of the palm of their hands on the couch. We did it.
The captain, he handed me his sword.
Oh, okay. That doesn't answer any question I just asked.
But that would mean... But that doesn't make any sense, right? And that would mean he was an agent, in which case we should have warned him.
Think about the story he told us.
I didn't get to say goodbye.
And that kind of weighs on all of you. A lot of you made friends on that ship in the time that you were there. People that worked with you, ate and slept in the same quarters as you guys. Now they're gone. Like Ron, Wagon Wheel, Lily.
Jaeger stands from the couch and begins pacing, almost like he's about to just dig a hole in front of the large hourglass, before turning back to the others and says, "You know what? I'm not glad we couldn't say goodbye, but I am happy to have met them. That I can say I appreciate, and that's all we really can do now. As long as we remember them and what they taught us, there's nothing else we can really do, is there?"
True. Although, think of what that means. We fought one of those monsters, but that wasn't our mission. They're slipping through more, popping up in places that aren't the real reason we're there. I just wish we could have told him that more was coming.
Not if we fix this. If we can stop the light, if we can stop them, it will seal the cracks. It has to.
I just wish we had a place to start.
That's what the clock tower gives us. Every mission is us closing things quicker.
Reagan gets up and walks to the clock face and says, "Exactly," and touches it.
And as many times before, the hands of the clock face that tick at different speeds and in different directions stop, giving you a new mission as the mirror opens up to a new world.
Let's go get answers. Sam takes a full step towards the mirror and looks to the rest of their family.
Jaeger turns and looks toward the hourglass again and stares at the worlds for a moment before walking to the mirror, looking at the door again, and then stepping through.
Reagan follows.
And Rock, the last one on the couch, not having have moved since the realization hit, notices the emptiness of the clock tower, the almost hollow feeling, and with no one around, starts to silently weep for the loss of a friend and an attachment that even they knew was not what they were supposed to do. It's not what they have done, but they let it slide just this once, and they paid the price. They wipe their face, get up, and walk through the mirror.
As all of you stand, shoulder to shoulder in a new world, you find yourselves in what seems like a small lobby, like one that people might see in maybe the 1920s and 1940s era. There's a ceiling fan that is making a scraping noise as it slowly turns slow enough that it draws your attention. And there's like the small lamp on a nearby desk that's got the little chain to pull on and everything. And there's a girl with her hair done very large up who is typing on a typewriter. And she pushes up her glasses and she goes, "Oh, I didn't see you come in. He'll be with you in a moment. You can take a seat." And they continue typing away on the very loud typewriter. And you see the door that she gestured to has a frosted glass window in it. And in black letters on it, it says Detective Offices of David Henry. And you guys see that there's like a small couch with like a magazine on the table that says the Valance Times. As you look around at each other and realize that just as all the worlds before, your outfits have changed. Rock, what's your outfit look like?
Rock is wearing a very long, almost past the knees down to like the ankles, dark burgundy trench coat with a very starched collar, very flamboyant almost with it, more so than Rock has maybe seemed in past worlds. A black, almost like turtleneck that, you know, goes up a little bit, not completely over their neck to their anything past that, just kind of right on their collarbone line.
Like a high collar.
Like a high collar. Down to a very like big black belt that the turtleneck is tucked into, down into very nice black leather boots that go right up to their knees. And their sword is planted right in their back as usual. And the last piece of their outfit is these very nice dark brown leather gloves.
Nice.
And of course, a very long, dark burgundy and black tipped fedora.
All right. Jaeger?
Jaeger's outfit is almost, after that, a little bit more understated. It's a white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up over the elbows, a black vest over that. Looks like black slacks, black boots. It almost looks like they're military style boots for the time. And a tie that is tied very neatly with his hair slicked back across his head. As he looks around, he sort of seems like he's glancing and trying to figure out exactly what is different about this than what he regularly wears. And all you see is that around his wrists are 2 silver bracelets.
All right. Sam?
Sam pulls at the neck of their turtleneck sweater and kind of adjusts themselves before running back their messy hair and replacing it with their newsy cap, and kind of dusts off their torn up newsy pants.
And finally, Reagan?
Reagan is wearing a thick tweed suit that is a dark gray with a green handkerchief in his pocket to go with his gray fedora that has a green ribbon wrapped around it.
And As you all look at each other, do you sit on the
Rock
couch?
would probably sit on the couch and pick up the magazine and just kind of like flip through it.
As you are flipping through the magazine, you see that the pictures of the city, it's like a brochure, like a, hey, come to our city kind of a thing, as well as some local news. And roll an investigation check.
I got a 13.
As you're looking through the book, you see that the city is built pretty much on the mouth of a river. Like, the river runs through this city. So much so that the majority of the city is filled with different canals and waterways that lead to each other, intersecting and dividing different blocks. There are bridges throughout the city that lead from one side of a street to the other because there's a waterway going between. There's a big amount of transportation via small rowboat, like gondolas, that go between different things. And the city's been having a lot of problems flooding recently. As the water level rises, some of the lower built houses and buildings tend to flood, and the city at large is trying to fix that a lot. But more interestingly to you, Rock, is that there are several reports on the back of the magazine of where to call if you have seen any one of like 3 different missing persons.
Okay, well, that's interesting. What are the names of the missing persons?
There's one named Emily Rogers. There's another one named Stephanie Drake. And the last one is Martin Thompson.
Gotcha. Well, Rock's going to look to the rest of their group, go, this might be a reason why we're at least in an office with some kind. I don't know. And Rock's going to kind of pass the missing persons thing around to the group, kind of like a show and tell, just holding it like vertically, like,
And as Rock is holding the magazine up to you guys, like, this could, maybe this way, the door to the office opens and like kind of startles you, Rock, as you're like kind of holding the magazine to the others. And a woman with like a high purse walks out, looks a little bit confused at Rock. Her eyes are red as if she's been crying recently, and she walks out of the building, and the woman at the typewriter says, you could probably go in now.
Thank you kindly, miss. Sam stands up and motions the rest of their group to follow them.
I hit the magazine out of Rock's hand
why?
and usher him to
Okay.
get in the room.
As all of you enter the room, there is a heavy smell of cigar smoke, and there is a man talking on one of the phones that you hold the receiving end and you hold the listening part to your ear, as he goes, yeah, no, that's fine. No, everyone's going through a lot right now. I understand. Yep. It's gonna be all right. Trust me. It's gonna be all right. You need to drink some water. You need to get a good nap. All right? I will see you tomorrow. Okay? I've got work to do today, but I'll be by tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Love you. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. And I hang up the phone. And he goes, hello. What can I do for all of you?
Excuse me, we're here to see about the missing people?
Are all of you some kind of detectives as well?
Yes. We're kind of a collection of different detectives from other places. We kind of came together because of this case.
I see. What detective agency are you with?
I'm with the Owl House agency.
I'm with Towers Incorporated Industry.
He looks at Rock and looks at Sam and goes, you're not.
I said we came from different places. This is a big thing.
There's a lot of people really interested in wanting to know about these missing persons cases.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm a little off my guard here. Usually I'm one of the only detective games in this city, and having all of you come here from different agencies. Are you from this city? Because I ain't never heard of no Owl House or Tower Industries. Industries? Is that what you said?
Incorporated.
Incorporated. I'm not sure what that means, but
We're not. I'm sorry. Usually we don't like to just barge into other people's territory, if you know what I'm saying. We're not here to poach any of your business. We just want to solve this case before it spreads.
I've talked to most of the families of most of the missing people. I mean, all 10 of them are real broken up about it, but I'm already looking into several leads. You're not here to try and take the pay, are you?
Oh, no.
All right.
I can assure you, we are not here to mooch off of any of your gains, nor are we here to establish a foothold into your business.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is that a lot of these families don't have much money to pay, and I don't really mind that, but other people coming in on the job, there's not a lot of money in this town, and there's not a lot of money in these cases, so if you're here for the money, there isn't any.
I think I can speak for all of my associates, but we're here for the common good. Well, I'll be frank with you. We came here because the other agencies wanted to send agents to mooch off of your gains, but we wanted to come here out of our own personal business, that we all wanted to do the right thing.
Roll a deception check.
I have ClockTower die for this.
And it's a D6 now.
Oh my god!
Did you
Was
just get
that
2
the
ones?
Sam finishes. You're really proud of yourself. You're like, you've never
It's been so long since I've talked to people.
you've never spun a yarn like that in your life, and as you start doing it, you're finished and you're smiling at yourself, and they're all looking at you, and he goes, I see. So none of you are detectives. And you have no idea about what's going on here. I'm gonna say you probably read the magazine in the lobby based on your friend here's face at hearing that there were 10 people and not 3. Your pants are much too scuffed up to be any sort of detective, and no detective would ever wear that many bright colors.
No, you're very correct.
Yeah. Looking at you don't think before you act most of the time, do you?
No, and I have no
And
idea.
you're filled with great remorse for some sort of terrible problem.
Reagan nods his head. Yes. Detective.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what the fuck he was talking about.
To be honest with you, based on your story, you're all my number 1 suspects.
Ooh.
That makes sense.
You specifically.
Wonderful. Please arrest me.
Oh my god. Sam, stop.
Okay, look.
No, I'm good at this, I swear.
No, okay, wait. Excuse me, mister. You're very good at your job.
Uh-huh.
You're doing a fantastic job. Can I get a glass is there a glass of water or anything like that?
First of all, I'm going to see if your friend here kidnapped all the missing people.
All right, go for it.
Hello,
What's your name?
Sam.
He flips out a notebook like a gunslinger would flip out a revolver. And then he, magics a pen out of nowhere. It's not actually magic. He just sleight of handed a pen, but it was so smooth that all of you are left with a little, it takes you aback a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. Jaeger probably almost went for his gun and went,
Sam, where'd you come from?
I don't remember.
How old are you?
You know, that's a good question.
What are your parents' names?
Oh no.
I don't have none.
Reagan checks his watch.
You're looking mighty suspicious.
That makes sense.
Why are you really here?
To fix the problem.
You said that already.
That I did.
You're very not convincing with this.
You know, sometimes I feel like I'm having good days and I'm really not.
I see. What about the rest of you? Where'd all of you come from? Are you with him?
Sadly.
Them?
Yes.
This person.
We are with Sam.
That we are with Sam.
You're with Sam. Thank you. And why are all of you here? Where are you from? What's your parents' names? As he points at Reagan with the pen.
That's a great question, sir. We're here to fix the problem.
Your friend said that already. To be honest, you're all making me very uneasy. As if you're here for some sort of alternative motive. As if you know some sort of dark secret about this town. About everything that's going on. You've got sort of a forbidden knowledge about you.
What do you know about the disappearances?
I know a lot, but I'm not going to tell yous. Why would I do that? All of you are very suspicious, especially you. I don't like your eyes.
I like my eyes.
Rock's gonna look at Reagan
Points at Sam.
and just not say anything, but just kind of holds their pocket watch and looks at Reagan kind of with the eyes of we may want to just do this again. The first person we meet that we're supposed to hey, what's going on is just you did it.
How much time do we have?
6 hours.
Oh god, this is gonna.
Yada, we're back in the clock tower.
Yeah.
okay, look, we don't have a lot of time.
Neither do I, and all of you are wasting it.
All we know is that something bad is going to happen in the next few hours. We need your help to figure out what the hell is going on here.
Jaeger.
He hears terroristic threats.
Yeah, Jaeger.
We're already here. We have to do this now.
You know what? Let me cut to the chase. All of you are mighty suspicious. I don't think you're from this town. I think you're from some sort of other agency, maybe another country, as some sort of
To be
spies.
fair, we never said we were from this town.
That's what I'm saying. Some sort of spies. or
If I was
enemies
a
from
spy,
abroad.
would I be so terrible at my job?
Yeah, that'd be a really bad spot.
Could be a double negative. You could be trying to mistake me to think you're all idiots, and instead, you're all very crafty.
No, we're all idiots.
Well, at least
You said that very convincingly.
some of us.
Needless to say, I'm going to need to detain you until tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't
All
have
right.
time for
All
that.
right.
All right. Rock immediately just gonna click the top of their pocket watch.
You feel a crushing wave wash over you as the guy is almost frozen in time for a moment, and then you're back on the couch in the clock tower.
All right. So game plan. Sam, stop.
I did really well.
No more. No.
No, we no lie.
You
We
are
no lie.
too good-hearted for this.
We no lie. All right. We don't lie. We find a different approach. How about we just say, hey, we've heard about the missing person stuff. We're just civilians. We want to help. We want to help.
Yeah. I think that works.
It's got to be the only way we can do things. If not, we can always walk out the door and see what's going on out in the city itself. But this seems like the path we have to take.
Usually, the tower puts us in places where we need to be. It would have just put us in the middle of the city if it wanted us to be in the middle of the city.
Yeah, that's why I said this is the path we have to take.
So, let's just say, hey, we want to help.
Would all of you like to go back to the moment when you entered the office?
Actually, I'd like to go back to the moment where we actually sat down on the couch and waited.
Okay. In that case, after all of you go through the mirror, you're back on the couch, and as you're sitting there, you see the magazine in front of you that says the Valance Times.
I like to go through my memories and see exactly what I can pick up from this place that might help us.
Roll a history check.
Cool. And that's going to be a history of 19.
History of 19, you know that as the magazine stated, the city is suffering from a lot of flooding problems recently. Most of the people here are part of a faith that worships the concept of love and kindness. It's not necessarily about like romantic love, but like all sense of love and generosity and kindness. And it's one of those religions that's kind of been in this town since its birth, and a lot of people are part of it, but they don't even really think about it. It just is kind of how things are. But people who come from other places, or people who aren't from here, or people who don't subscribe to that religion, it's not at all like hostile to those people. That's just one of the most prevalent parts of society here. Similar to how in widely Christian societies you see crosses and a lot of other symbols of that make, and a lot of that symbology of this religion is built into the architecture around this place. And that's important to your knowledge because it's important to a lot of the ways that people in this town just go about their daily life. Like, people will, as a call in return, when they're leaving a lot of the time, say, may you have a lovely day, and they return that with, and may its warmth be with you. You realize that daily life here, for most people, for your 2 years of knowledge, it's pretty mundane. Not a lot happens here. The people going missing is one of the biggest things that has happened here in years, and you don't know very much about that from the 2 years that you've been here because it's happened very recently.
2 questions. One, how do they react to general charity, like, or community service in general, just in that space?
It's good.
And 2, is magic a normal thing in this world?
No.
Cool.
In this
Don't kill
world,
the
magic
guy.
is one of those things that is talked about in fantasies and fairy tales, but not happening in practice. And as I said, it's a quote-unquote modern world.
Okay, cool. Wanted to be sure about that before we did anything crazy.
And all of that knowledge, even though Jaeger is the one who rolled the history check, is pretty common knowledge that all of you have.
All right, well, I guess now we wait for the lady to come out.
And not long after you say that, she does. And she doesn't look towards you guys this time because Rock isn't like holding a magazine up to you guys and making like a big show of it. She just kind of walks out and actually specifically doesn't look at anybody. And the lady at the typewriter goes, he'll see you now.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
She smiles and says, may its warmth be with you.
I would step aside and let everybody like usher them forward, like, all right, let's go.
And as the room again is filled with cigar smoke, you see the man in front of you, which I'm now realizing I didn't describe earlier. He's got like 5 o'clock shadow, pretty tallish built. For lack of a better term, he looks like a generic detective. Like the kind you might see in old detective movies. He looks a little run ragged. He looks like he hasn't slept in a couple of days. His shirt is like white. He's got a dark gray tie on and a brown overcoat that seems like it has been well worn, as well as a very, very, very broken in hat that he has on his head. And he has a cigar that is like one of the thinner cigars, and he's smoking it. And as he's talking on the phone, you again hear him say, yeah, no, that's fine. No, everyone's going through a lot right now. I understand. Yep. It's gonna be all right. Trust me. It's gonna be all right. You need to drink some water. You need to get a good nap. All right? I will see you tomorrow. Okay? I've got work to do today, but I'll be by tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Love you. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. And it hangs up the phone. He goes,
Rock, while this is happening, because they kind of know the timeline of how this is going, would like to think with the 2 years of knowledge, A, what the name of the city is, if that has not been said already. Valance, dope. B, what, is there like certain subsections of the city that like you grow up in, kind of like in New York, how there's like Queens and like Manhattan and stuff like that, or like little boroughs?
I would say, yeah. And the one you're currently in is Riverside.
Riverside? Okay.
There's the Red Plains district, which is above Riverside, and there are smaller, like, home street towns and things that people will refer to, but from what you guys know, those are, like, the two big ones. Like, those are where the biggest amount of communities are and where it's vastly different between the two, because it's kind of like the big river that divides the Red Plains side from the Riverside, and there's, like, a lot of main bridges that go across there. And as the man gets off of the phone and he puts the receiving end back on the hook, he says, "How can I help all of you?"
My friends and I were hoping to help you, actually. We've been hearing about these disappearances for a while now, and we thought maybe we could give you a couple extra eyes and ears to look around or something. We want to be of service to the community in general.
Interesting. Well, are you saying you're concerned citizens then?
Yes.
All of you are from here?
Well, we're newer in town, but we still wanted to do what we could to, do our part.
I see. When did you get here?
A year and a half, 2 years ago?
I see. And are you from the Red Rock district?
No, we're from the Red Plain district.
He smiles at you and says, "Just testing you. Just wanted to see if you're really about what you say you're about. But if you really are just concerned citizens, I could use the help. There's been more and more missing cases every day. It's up to 10 now."
As we've heard.
He looks at you and he goes, "Where'd you hear it?"
Well, we've only heard of 3 on the paper.
In the magazine.
Yeah, Emily and Stephanie and...
I believe it was Martin.
Ah, I thought you were saying that you'd heard that there were 10 of them.
There's been 10?
Yes. However, roll a deception check, all of you.
An unnatural 20.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I rolled a 6, but I used a ClockTower die, which was also a 6, so that is 12 plus 5 for 17.
Nice.
8.
Okay. What did Jaeger get?
I was trying to figure out if I want to use the clock right now or not. Not going to. So I got a 7.
Okay, so between Jaeger's 8 and 7 and Reagan's unnatural 20 and Stam's 17, did you say?
Correct.
You kind of balance each other out in that. I'm going to say average roll. You're just passing. As he goes, "My mistake. I'm a little skeptical of everyone right now. You can understand. Anyone suspicious, it's hard to have any leads, and the leads I do have, you never know who you're working with."
That makes sense.
Have there been a lot of fakes?
No, but I'm a self-made man, you see. I was a peace officer a long time ago and decided to start being a detective because I didn't think that, sometimes larger organizations like that can be dangerous.
Right.
I wanted to help people the real way, by helping them find things, checking up on people, making sure people are okay. That's what I'm about. Not a lot of money in it, but enough for me.
Community service, right?
I would say I do a service for the community, yes.
Do I believe him?
Roll an insight.
Reagan says, "That's lovely."
Jaeger. What if he's a piece of shit?
18, actually.
you think he's being 100% sincere on everything he just said. He even thinks about it for a moment and goes, one lady pays me to check up on her daughter every Thursday. Pays me in a crate of eggs. Best eggs I've ever had. She has her own chicken.
That does, in fact, sound lovely.
That's actually very nice.
Not a bad arrangement. Her daughter goes through a lot. She gets sad on the regular, very melancholy, but doctors can't do anything about it, so I just check up on her. Ask her how her day was.
Real kind of you.
That's who I was on the phone with. I'll see her tomorrow.
I'm sure she appreciates it.
He said he loved her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're all just so nice. or he loves her.
Well, we should go to the canals in the riverside. That's probably the first place we're going to check. One of the men was living there under a bridge by himself, and the remnants of where he used to live is still there. So, best place to check, in my mind, is start there, see if we can find any clues.
Question in particular. Have all the people who've been taken all been folks who live under bridges and things of that nature?
They were at first.
And now it's just been going off to more affluent members of the community in general? Or?
It's been picking up.
All right.
Over the course of about a month, 3 people disappeared. In the last 2 weeks, 7 people have disappeared. That rate is too high for me. I've got to figure out what's going on and get to the bottom of this.
Are they all residents of Riverside or Red Plains as well?
Spread out across both districts.
Wow.
Do we have a map with maybe we can like triangulate from where they're all from and see if we can mark it down from a sort of pinpoint where each point is?
I have a few friends of mine that have been working on a map like that. Here, come with me into the other room. And he goes through a door to the side of the office, and you see that there is like a very messy bed and like some takeout bags that have not been cleaned up. And there's another one of those desk lamps that's got like several stacks of like pocket notebooks on it. And there's a wall that has a map of the city and a bunch of those pocket notebook pages ripped out of it and pinned to the wall. And he's got like string going from different places to all of the different things. And he goes, I started tracking out where people were going missing, where they were disappearing. As I said, one of the only people whose sight has been undisturbed. I have a few friends of mine in the peacekeeping department that have made sure that no one is messing with it until I get a chance to look at it. Is over here. I was gonna go check that out today before I met all of you. And he points to like a canal at the very end of the river district where there's not a lot going on in that place. And he points to a couple others, and there's a reoccurring pattern that all of you are starting to notice, which is that almost all of them are around the same age. They're like anywhere from 19 to 25. And the small notes that he has written about them is that almost all of them are estranged from their families or living on their own. Not homeless, but alone.
I see that a lot of these people are kind of by themselves or don't have a lot of connections. Do you think it's targeting people who don't have a lot of friendships to them? I mean, like, if people who are away from social circles, right?
Well, I had thought something about that. Except for this case right here. And he, like, points to Martin, one of the names in the magazine. He says, this fella here was the first person to go missing. He didn't live alone. He lived with his 2 sisters. They say that he went out one night and never came back. That he was skulking around a lot, not talking to anyone, getting more and more closed off. But he still lived with them. The only one of these people that didn't live alone. And his sisters aren't much help.
Well, was he the primary caregiver to his sisters?
Not at all. They're from a wealthy family. They have all of their money given to them by their parents, who own several industries here in town.
But you said he only lived with them?
He lived with them. They lived on their own. They lived away from their parents. The parents are often on travel. Their parents have their own estate in the Red Plains district.
What has been the parents' opinion on all this?
The parents have declined to comment. Apparently they didn't much like their son, which originally made me suspect that maybe the parents would be at fault. However, when he went missing, and when all the other disappearances have happened, when I was able to get the parents on the phone, they were out of town, and have been out of town for some time. So it's unlikely that they'd be the possible culprits. Perhaps maybe hiring somebody, but why all these other people? It doesn't make sense to me.
So it seems like whatever is happening to these people, they're alone, and maybe even sometimes ones that society has forgotten.
Further that, Rock, maybe they're people who just got into fights recently. Again, people at their lows. Seem like they're getting targeted.
I see. It's an interesting case. I hadn't quite looked at it that way, but it could be that way.
Do you think that these people are being abducted into something bigger? Like, is there any sort of like underground crime in the city that this could be related to?
Well, there's definitely crime here. It's crime everywhere. Every big city like this, you're gonna have crime. However, most of the crime works with the peace department. He says, uncomfortable as he looks at all of you.
That makes
Yes.
a lot of sense of why you would leave then.
Exactly. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't much like criminals myself. But I also understand that a lot of people turn to crime because they don't have other options. So I instead choose to just help people anywhere I can. And these disappearances, as far as I'm concerned, that's helping people. I suppose you all have raised some interesting questions, though. Depending on what we want to do, we could go talk to the sisters some more. We could go down to the canal and see where one of the more recent disappearances' old home was. Or we could go here. And he points to a spot on the map that has a homeless shelter on it. And he says, I was thinking about going here and see if any of the regulars haven't shown up recently. Just because I've only gotten 10 reports of missing people doesn't mean that there might not be more that people don't know about. The city's not perfect. No city is. But if we can figure out what's happening and stop it before it gets worse, I think that's probably the best course of action. What do all of you think?
I think going to a homeless shelter where it seems to be picking on people that have been kind of strayed away from anyone, going to a place that's filled with people that are normally alone is a smart idea. Find a lead that hasn't been caught by the public eye yet. What do you say? What say you guys?
I mean, I'm good with that, right? Maybe after we figure out some information, we can swing around to that place you wanted to check out, Detective. I'm sure if you're friends of the peacekeeping corps, keeping that locked up tight, nothing's gonna go through again.
Well, I'm not sure how long they can keep other people from investigating, but I've got first dibs, so if we want to go there, be good to go there early. But perhaps we swing by the shelter and then make our way down to his house.
Reagan? Jaeger?
I agree. It seems like the smartest thing to go to the shelter and check things out just in case. I'm just trying to figure out what, besides the age, and the lack of support, I suppose, would be the other way to say it. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that if these people are all in the same category, per se.
Maybe out of left field question, do we know the spiritualities of these people? Like, do they follow a specific religion at all, or are they all very sparse?
I haven't asked them personally, and some of the details of some of the people is very difficult to get a hold of. However, Martin himself was specifically against the religion of love that is prevalent in this city. It seemed that he didn't much care for it. That's fine. Everybody has their different ways about them. But might be a detail to note.
I think it should.
Maybe keep an eye out and ask around for the other victims. See if maybe we have someone who's less than happy with folks who don't follow the status quo around here.
I think that's a good idea. But moreover, I think we should get going.
Yes.
To the homeless shelter, then? Is that the decision?
Agreed. More people, we can talk to more people at once. Honestly, I'm glad to have you with me. I was getting a little overwhelmed thinking that I might have to do this all by myself. I sent messages to the Tower Detective Agency that is over in the Red Plains side, but I haven't gotten any word back. But it's good that all of you came over.
Well, we're glad to be of service.
Absolutely. Oh, should we, before we get going, should we say all our names? You know.
That's a good idea. Tell me on the way. 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 Hey, Ellie again. Thanks for listening. As always, I'd like to thank our producer, Who's, at who's.music, and our Dead Air team, Cal, for making the episodes what they are. I would also like to thank our sponsor, Alpha Lupine Images, for donating the equipment to help us make more content with better quality. Thank you to Darbii, Cal, Parker, and Trent for their great performances. As always, thanks again for listening. We're glad to be back, and it was awesome getting to see so many of you at Wasteland. I had this really great conversation with them. Well, you know who you are. As always, we're releasing bi-weekly, so episode 34 will be out Friday, October 22nd. Until then, time's ticking. See you in the clock tower.